www.Enochian.org back again. More encouragement to work outdoors. So I thought I'd sit beside some amazing greenery out here. So the Goetia. Well, I love making Goetia circles, and I will happily sell Goetia circles to people, because who doesn't love getting paid for what they really enjoy doing, which is painting Hebrew letters on Goetia circles, or Enochian letters. Anyways, just in case not everybody knew this, traditionally and originally, and in the Grimoire, it says to draw the letters into the earth. You're actually supposed to draw that entire circle, which takes a long time. Even with practice, just the lettering alone takes 4 hours, I find. Of course, that's with paint, though, and trying to make them all look perfect. Maybe if you were to do shorthand or something, or do it really quick, or the non-perfect method. But in earth, so it takes you at least 4 hours, and that's just for that part. Then you have to measure out the hexagrams, and the diamond in the center, and the pentagrams around the outside. So we're talking an 8-hour job here, just for one working. So what happens if it rains? Now, you're supposed to, of course, do this during clear weather. Maybe that's another reason, so your circle doesn't turn to mud. Do you imagine you spend 8 hours doing this circle and it starts pouring rain and your circle turns into mud? That would really suck. So anyway, so you spend all this time drawing the circle in the earth, and then when you're done, you erase it all and that's it. Well, I guess unless you have this like amazing huge yard that nobody is going to enter ever, then you could just draw it once, but it's gonna, animals are gonna walk across it and stuff. So I guess traditionally they would just spend the entire time, all that energy and focus, making the circle each and every time. Could you imagine? That would be a strong working and some strong magic. So traditionally it was done outdoors in the middle of nowhere, where there's enough land to actually draw a 9-foot circle on the earth, which that's hard to find. I do a lot of hiking. It's hard to find flat land like that, or at least here. It's very mountainous here. Maybe in the desert you would do better, or in flatland. Maybe if I lived in Alberta, there'd be a lot of places, but in BC, that's sort of hard to find. And you don't want to go digging up grass out in the forest. But anyway, 9-foot circle that you draw out before each working with the magician's staff. That would be a really strong, awesome working, though, really. Imagine all the intent and focus. And the main operator is supposed to draw it out, I think. But, if you have a few people do certain parts, that would be a lot quicker. Or maybe you have your assistant do it. Or you could take turns. But one person do the lettering, somebody else do the circles and the hexagrams and the pentagrams. See, that would work pretty well. Then you might only take 4 hours. Still a lot of work every single time you want to do a working. So imagine every single time you want to call a spirit, you're going to spend 4 or 8 hours drawing out the circle, hoping it doesn't rain. Obviously they didn't live in Vancouver, just saying. Rains a lot here. And you just hope it's not too windy, because that might cause problems. You just hope no animals walk through it. Just hope nothing happens. And then you finally do your working, which those conjurations are pretty long. So draw out your circle. Maybe you sleep in the circle. I don't know about the sleep. So you spend 4 or 8 hours drawing out the circle, and then another 4 hours saying all these long conjurations and calling the spirit, waiting for the spirit to come, and then doing the proper license to depart after. That would be a very long working. It would be way more intense than most people get in this day and age, because what do? Throw the circle on the ground, though. The circles are pretty awesome. The cool part about having a silk or canvas circle is that each time you do a working, it gets even more and more charged up, and stronger and stronger and stronger. So that part's pretty awesome. And it's an amazing meditation tool to have this with all the deity names and all the angel names that you can sit in and meditate. It can be extremely strong and a wonderful working space, and you can use it for other types of workings too. So that's the benefit of it. But these days, you just put the circle down, light the candles, and get going. Of course, you can have a strong manifestation if you've been at it for a while, but compared to somebody who just spent all night long, drawing out their own circle into the earth, I think that would be a lot stronger. Now some people do the sidewalk chalk thing, which is pretty cool. It's not the same though. It's still on cement with sidewalk chalk, but it's still cool. It's still a way to work. But traditionally, you do it where nobody would see you, where nobody goes, which is really hard these days. Before you used to be able to go hiking and you'd be the only one out there if you go out far enough. Now there's just barely any spots like that, since hiking's now a big trendy thing, unfortunately or fortunately. So there's people, all the trails have people. But traditionally you go to a spot where you not be disturbed. No wonder most of us work indoors most of the time, but outdoors is stronger, really. It's more conducive to the spirits, it's more their natural environment. So outdoors, drawing the circle overnight, doing all the preparations. I guess you could bring a solar shower for the cleansing baths, since most people don't live out in the middle of nowhere where the house is just right there where you can take the quick shower, or the quick bath I mean. So you'd have a solar shower and probably do it that way. If you haven't heard those, just look them up. Just put on the tree, warm weather for this. None of those December workings for this, I don't think. And then do the full proper working. I think that would be pretty amazing. No, I have not done it. I've done many workings out in the middle of nowhere and they are much stronger, but I have not done the draw the circle in the earth thing, just because finding a spot big enough is very difficult, or you'll be undisturbed, or you won't be arrested, because usually the flat places are more in the city. It's hard to find flat places here within all the mountains. But it would be an awesome way to work, and it was traditionally done outdoors. So just the closer we can get to some of the methods that they say, the better, in my opinion, because each bit that you add is a bit stronger. Obviously, very few of us are doing it all traditionally as it was written out as the old grimoire state. A lot of people do it outdoors and will spray paint the circle or bring a canvas circle, which is very awesome. I've done that a lot. It's just the more things you can incorporate in from the actual traditional grimoires, the stronger it is. So just try to add a few more things, not all at once usually. You just bit by bit get more of the tools, get more of the things set up, sort things out, plan a camping trip, do something, and plan ahead. That's the other thing, is you'd also have to plan ahead for good weather. Certain times of the year, depending on who you're calling, some of them do require to call them in November, December, something like that. So you would plan it out, and you might want to plan around the moon phase, maybe not, depends, but if you're planning this far in advance and you're going all out, you might as well do the whole 9 yards, right? But I recommend, since most of us won't be going into the middle of nowhere, spending 8 hours drawing a circle, just as many things as you can incorporate as possible. For example, the metal spirit seals drawn out properly, the lion skin belt if you can, obviously, from an antique belt or something, which I still sell several of them. I got several of them, antique ones, so they weren't hunted past when the law went into effect where you're not actually allowed to hunt lions, so they were old ones, and I cut them out of a piece of lion skin. But you don't have to use that. You can use something different and just make sure the god names are on there, or if you're in a different tradition, make sure your god names are on there, and just incorporate each and every bit that you can, and that will help. Anyway, Enochian.org. Like, comment, and share. Hope you enjoyed this video.